Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is the final stop in my series of Harry Potter reviews. I still have to talk about Fantastic Beasts and where to find them, and give you updated thoughts on the Crimes of Grindelwald leading up to Fantastic Beasts 3 next month. But we have reached Part 2 of the Deathly Hallows, in which Harry, Ron, and Hermione return to Hogwarts in an epic battle for survival between Harry and his allies, and Lord Voldemort and his forces erupts, and it all ends here. From the get-go, Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a fast-paced movie. Even in the opening scene, where it is a slow, talking, dialogue-heavy scene, the scene moves along at a brisk pace, and I think that's because you are getting information thrown at you in a way that is exposition-y, yes, but exposition that I feel is done right. Necessary exposition to propel the story along. Exposition that is needed after where we ended with Part 1. The trio then breaks into Gringotts, and we have one of the best action scenes in a Harry Potter film ever to date, one of the best dragons ever put on screen, and after that, they take their clothes off for a little fanfiction-y moment so that people can write little love stories. After they break into Gringotts to get what they need in Bellatrix Lestrange's vault, we go back to Hogwarts, and it is a total war at Hogwarts. Oh my god, I love when the actual battle for Hogwarts takes place. It is one of the most visually satisfying conclusions to a book adaptation series ever put on screen, probably next to Lord of the Rings. This shit rocks. Voldemort and his forces attacking Hogwarts. Hogwarts preparing for battle. Ron and Hermione going into the Chamber of Secrets to destroy Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem. Hogwarts hasn't been the same since Snape took over. Slimy bastard. How dare you stand where he stood! McGonagall getting so excited when she uses a spell to allow Hogwarts to fight back. I always wanted to use that spell!
Hogwarts is threatened. Man the boundaries. Protect us. Do your duty to our school. I've always wanted to use that spell.
Big battle erupts. One scene that I've always loved that takes place later on in the movie. After the Room of Requirement scene, Harry, Ron, and Hermione going through the courtyard at Hogwarts, and there's literally a small moment that I think goes overlooked where Hermione's about to run out and Harry has to put his hand out to stop her because she's about to get hit by a spell. Hermione almost fucking died. Holy shit! And they're just running through the battle, they're throwing spells at each other, they're seeing their friends die. Fenrir Greyback kills Lavender Brown, but Fenrir Greyback has no purpose in these movies, okay, I guess. That's a little weird. It was everything I wanted from a fantasy wizarding battle put to screen, and it totally delivered. There was not a single moment that feels wasted in Deathly Hallows Part 2, and that is the biggest compliment I can give this movie. Every scene feels essential. Even in the downtime, it feels essential. Even in the big, boisterous action scenes that we wanted to see, it all feels essential. It is all needed. This is the culmination of 7 books, 8 movies, and this movie totally delivers on the promise that it is going to live up to the hype. Not a lot of movies do that. Not a lot of movies are able to stick the landing. Deathly Hallows Part 2 sticks the landing in every way possible. There are so many memorable scenes. Harry using the Resurrection Stone to talk to the loved ones that have died before him. Harry actually dying because he learns that he is the final Horcrux and he must die in order to be able to defeat Voldemort, and he learns this through Snape's memory, which is very, very well done. I've seen the Snape's memory scene get a lot of flack. I think they mostly pulled it off. Sure, there are a couple details that they missed out on, but for the most part, you get the gist of what you need to know. You get, I would say, about 90% of what you need to know. There's probably a couple things that should have been in there, but you understand, mostly, what is happening with Snape this whole time that he has loved Harry's mother. He's basically been Dumbledore's puppet, and Dumbledore really just comes across as a huge dick. He's an asshole. Wow, Dumbledore of all people? But he did grab Harry and was like, "Did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire?" And in the book, he was like, "Did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire, Harry?" So I'm not really surprised that this Dumbledore turned out to be a huge-ass dick. The cinematography is also very underrated. Just wide shots that show the scale and the scope of this actual battle, like this, actually expresses thoughts of desperation and hopelessness, where it's like, oh shit, these people are actually going to die. The moments of downtime are directed very well as well by David Yates. He has had a handle on this series since Order of the Phoenix. He knew exactly what the series needed. He breathed life into the series. He directed the last 4 Harry Potter films, and he's directed the first 2 Fantastic Beasts films, and he's directing the 3rd one as well. So he has a huge knowledge of this universe. He knows how to weave things in and out of this universe, and I think in this movie, that skill is put on display perfectly. One of my other favorite scenes is Molly Weasley versus Bellatrix Lestrange. Luckily, Steve Kloves, the writer, knew that we wanted the classic line from the book that where Molly Weasley says, "Not my daughter, you bitch!" And they put it in the movie, and she kills Bellatrix Lestrange.
Not my daughter, you bitch!
Bye-bye, bitch! See ya! And the actual battle between Harry and Voldemort, the final battle, isn't as anticlimactic as it is in the book. It's actually a duel in the movie. If I remember correctly, in the book, it was just Harry and Voldemort walking into the Great Hall. Voldemort casts Avada Kedavra, Harry casts Expelliarmus, and right away, Avada Kedavra backfires, it ricochets, and it hits Voldemort square in the chest, and he dies. This one is actually a duel. There's this weird action scene, though, that feels slightly incomplete, but it hasn't bothered me as much in recent years watching it. And I love the scene where Harry and Voldemort are apparating through Hogwarts, and they land in the courtyard for that climactic final duel, and as Neville Longbottom, yes, our boy, our hero! Neville Longbottom kills Nagini, decapitates a lady who had a blood curse. Crimes of Grindelwald, what were you thinking? Oh my god. Ugh. Neville decapitates Nagini, Avada Kedavra rebounds and ricochets to Voldemort, and it kills him, and he starts to melt away. See you later, pal! No more, Mr. Bad Guy! No more evil shit from you! See ya! Wouldn't wanna be ya! Goodbye now. It's not just in the books, but the movie's characterization of Harry. How he knows better. For instance, he becomes the Master of Death in this movie, because he wields the Elder Wand. He has the Resurrection Stone, and he is the owner of the Invisibility Cloak, the Deathly Hallows. Whoever wields them becomes the Master of Death, and he's just like, nope, I don't want that. And he snaps the Elder Wand in half. I love that Harry's just like, I'm above this. I'm better than this. Like, I don't have to be a Master of Death. I can just forge my own destiny ahead. I don't want any of this. I've already accomplished my goal, and there's no need for me to have another title thrown onto me. I'm not that type of person. I love that. Makes Harry so much more interesting and likable than he already was. Then we flash forward to the epilogue scene, the 19 years later scene, and every time I see this, I just cry because it's the Leaving Hogwarts theme from Sorcerer's Stone, so every time that music builds to its rousing conclusion, I can't help but shed a tear. It is so emotional, and it is emotionally satisfying. This is by far one of the most satisfying finales to any movie series ever, and they got it. They got almost every single one of these movies right. Not a single bad Harry Potter movie. Thank God they stuck the landing. This is a perfect conclusion, a perfect finale, one of the most satisfying finales I have ever seen in cinema history. I am going to give Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 an A+. Now, I know it's never going to happen, because if it was going to happen, it probably would have already happened by now. And I know that during production for both Deathly Hallows movies, they treated each of the Deathly Hallows movies like they were their own movies and not a two-parter. But I would love to see, in the future, again, I know it's never going to happen, I would love to see a supercut of Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Deathly Hallows Part 2, where it is edited into one movie, and it is just one 3-hour, 36-minute finale. Which it technically is. I mean, if I'm going to watch Part 1, Part 2 is going in that Blu-ray player immediately after Part 1. So, but I would just love to see it where I don't have to change discs, and I could just watch it straight through for 3.5 hours. I would love a super cut of that, a super edit. It would be one of the most amazing things to ever come from physical media. And you guys know me, I'm a big supporter of physical media. So that wraps up my Harry Potter series. Stay tuned very soon for my review of Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.